Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking. Good evening. You are very welcome to my channel. Actually, good afternoon. It's just late afternoon where I am. I had a very hectic day in court today, but I want us to talk about Sudan and what is happening in Sudan. At the moment, there's a ceasefire, and the ceasefire is not being respected by both parties as expected. I wasn't expecting anything from the two parties, but I just thought that I wanted us to discuss what exactly is happening in Sudan. For how long have they had this coming? And I think they've had it coming for a very long time. The country has been tethering on the brink of instability for at least 2 decades, as far as I have known that country. And at the moment, at the core of it, at the face of it, sorry, what they say is that they are fighting because the two factions, the paramilitary faction and the military that is led by Abdul Fattah el-Burqa or something like that, according to them, that they can't agree on how best to install democracy, how to return the country back to civilian rule, to democracy. I mean, because the Sudanese people, to their credit, have never ever hidden the fact that they cannot tolerate a military government for long. And these two people say that they are fighting for civilians, but nobody is dying the way civilians are having to lay down their lives in that country. And it's very sad. I think they need to come and take lessons from Abdul Salam Abubakar from here in Nigeria, where it was something as simple as, if you do not have a standing constitution that is recognized and accepted by the people, the first thing you need to do is to have one. Have a constitution that the Sudanese this time around agree that this is their constitution and it is binding on them. The next thing to do is to create an electoral body that should be independent of any political party, should be independent of the military, should be independent of politicians. Then empower that independent body with the ability to organize elections, set a time frame, create a budget for it. And for me, I think that is the most of it. Where there is a will, there is a way. But the truth of the matter is that these two warring factions, both the military and the paramilitary factions, did not have it at the back of their mind that they wanted to return the country to the hand of civilians. Understand something about them. There was a time that both the paramilitary factions, led by, sorry, I had to write the name, Abdul Fattah el-Burqa, who is of the regular Sudanese army, and then the paramilitary one led by Mohammed Hamdal, and they call him Hemeti, that's a nickname. They were once in the same team, actively instrumental in ousting the former president Omar al-Bashir, because according to them, he had overstayed in power and human rights abuses and all whatnot. Everybody agreed with them until then. But I think that they've taken an unreasonably long period of time to return the country back to democracy. And the fact that something as simple as bringing the country back to democracy is enough to make them pick up arms and start throwing weapons at each other's bases tells me something about, that's what for me, basically it tells me something about their motives in the first place for ousting Omar al-Bashir. And the people who are the major victims of this are the Sudanese people themselves. I don't really understand, why is it that Africans have this mentality of, if I cannot have it, then nobody else should have it. If it was not doing, if they don't do this thing my way, then let me just scatter it, as they say it in Hausa. If the neighbors have over to Kowa, that means if I cannot have it, then nobody else should have it. Let me just scatter it. And I think that's one is a problem that is not peculiar to Sudan alone. It is all over Nigeria. It is all over the continent, really. We have a leadership problem. And if there's a lesson that I hope we learn from this, all other African countries, is that we must strengthen institutions. It is because these institutions are weak that individuals are thinking that the country belongs to them and they will do with it as they wish, and they are even willing to bring the country down to its knees, basically, just because you want to hold on to power, or because things must be done your own way. And they are wrong. So for those of us who are in Nigeria and we're having issues that are similar to these, we have to be very careful to make sure that no human being is strong enough to amass so much power and military might to the point where you can threaten the security of your country. Okay, because you see, these paramilitary forces, they were once loyal to former President Omar al-Bashir, and what they are saying is, as per underground talk, is that they are actually doing that because they want to take hold of power again. They don't want to be incorporated back into the military, because that will make them to not be as powerful as they are right now as an independent body. They want to retain their independence so that they can free their former leader Omar al-Bashir. whom we all agreed should not be president of Sudan anymore. We have to learn as a continent to emphasize, one, the will of the people. If people say that they want a democracy, I don't think that they are asking for too much in 2023 for people to want to be governed by laws that they set for themselves. And honestly speaking, we have to stop this thing. We have to really, really stop it on this continent. The African Union is on its way there to according to the African Union, to want to go and broker peace. But I don't understand what kind of peace you can broker when the infrastructure that they will need to even enter the country via the airport is not working. Because I understand that there's an embargo on incoming flights, so even humanitarian aid cannot come into the country at the moment. I hope that we learn from that. These people that were empowered by Omar al-Bashir today, they have come to haunt the country. They were fighting in Libya, they were fighting in Yemen, but right now there's no job for them again. So anything at all that they can do to create conflict, they are going to do. I hope that that all of us learn from this, all African countries really learn from it, to choose leaders that are good for us. Because if the country burns down to ashes, I assure you, nobody is going to, there's not going to be any winner, there will be plenty losers, and both sides are going to lose. The amount of infrastructure that Sudan is losing at the moment, the amount of people that they are losing at the moment, valuable manpower that they could have used to develop their country. These are people that were already in dire straits even before the conflict came, and now things are going to get even worse for them, and I feel very, very unhappy about that. I hope I've made some points this evening. If I did, please tell me your opinion in the comment section. I will be waiting to hear from you. If this is your first time of stopping by on my channel, please remember to subscribe and drop me a like, because that's going to really help with the algorithm. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye bye. Have a nice day.